We are going into week 4. The Bears currently are 1-2 on the season. They did beat the Bengals somehow, some way, week 2. But with that being said, let's say they do fire Matt Nagy after this week 4 loss to the Detroit Lions. Who fits in as a head coach, not as an intern, but a long-term solution in Chicago?
Look, I'd like to see Eric Bieniemy. I mean, your guy over there in Kansas City, I
Yeah.
really would. He's an offensive guy. He's shown the ability to do things with Kansas City. I mean, they've been to 2 straight Super Bowls. I would really like to see Eric Bieniemy come over to Chicago. I think he could do good things. And I to be honest with you, if you're Eric Bieniemy and you're looking at the league, because he's going to be a hot commodity, he's probably going to be the most sought after
He always
coach in
is,
the
right?
offseason, right? So out of all the teams that might be available, right? You're talking about probably you could let's talk about Jacksonville because I don't think Urban Meyer lasts there.
Heart problems.
You know, I'm trying to think of all the bad teams. Maybe Atlanta might have an opening. Maybe the Giants might have an opening. A couple other teams might have an opening. But out of all those teams, the Bears are probably the most promising and the most talented out of all those teams, right? You've got Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You do have to do some work with the offensive line. Your defense is pretty damn good, even though you probably need to add a couple of veteran pieces to it, or even a couple of good young pieces in the draft, however which way you go about it. But that's probably the sexiest job out there. So I think that Sean Desai probably gets the job in the interim, but I'm not so sure unless he comes out and goes, whenever they fire Nagy, say they fire him after week 4. If Sean Desai comes out and gets the Bears into the playoffs, or at least gets them fighting for a spot, he might get a look at keeping the job. But I really would love to see if I'm the Bears, if I'm the GM of the Bears, which I would do a much better job than Ryan Pace. I would do everything I could to get Eric Bieniemy. I really would.
Yeah, so on the flip side of that coin, I feel that if the Bears fire Matt Nagy midseason, let's say it's next week, like let's just say next week is Black Friday and he is gone. If the Bears interim head coach even leads them to a 500 record down the stretch, I think he's the next head coach of your Chicago Bears. Why would you want to, mix things up when you're 500 with no offseason as a coach, not even putting in your system or like anything? Because more than likely it'll be a promotion from the inside, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. You already got the install happening. You're just kind of taking over and you're leading the ship and calling
If
better
they beat
plays
the
per
Detroit
se.
Lions, you're saying?
No, like I'm saying, if Matt Nagy gets fired next Friday, period, or
Well, he'd be
next
fired on Monday.
well next week, right?
Yeah.
And they bring an interim coach in, and like he goes 500 down the stretch.
Oh, yeah.
I think they will take that interim label off of the coach no matter what. But if somehow Matt Nagy makes it to the end of the season, it would not be surprising if they try to go to the booth. Like, let's look at CBS. They have Bill Cowher there that's, been linked to a few coaching jobs. Well, like, just like you got to think people that are not in coaching right now that would, how about Rex Ryan? Maybe the Bears just need that grungy side of a coach again, not none of this.
I don't know if either one of those guys know how to deal with a mobile quarterback.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like both of those guys.
Well, Bill Cowher had Cordell Stewart for a few years.
Yeah, but he didn't do much with Cordell Stewart.
He was more of a receiver slot. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean
right.
that's why they call him Slash. But I just